Warzone Plus learnt that a contract signed on 14 June for German unmanned aircraft system, UAS maker Quantum Systems, to supply the Romanian armed forces will involve 22 vector unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, with complete control systems. Romania's Ministry of National Defense, Ministerul Apărării Naționale, MAPAN, told James on 27 June that the vectors are due to enter into service with the Romanian naval and land forces in June 2025. The contract, worth approximately €18.4 million, USD 19.7 million, will span a period of 36 months. Romanian state defense company Montenegro SA was the purchasing authority with the MAPAN, calling for a mini UAS system fixed wing. Vector is an electric vertical takeoff and landing (EVTOL) system designed for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance (ISR) missions. Equipped with the ring-proof Raptor electro-optical/infrared EO/IR combi sensor from NextVision, Vector can conduct operations day or night while providing ranging from near-infrared (NIR) to long-wave infrared (LWIR) imaging. With a maximum takeoff weight of 8.5 kg, Vector can be carried in a backpack and assembled and launched vertically by a single operator before its tiltrotor system enables it to transition to forward flight. The company says the UAS is also equipped with its Skynode flight control computer providing AI capabilities and has a flight duration of up to 3 hours. On 31 May 2023, Quantum Systems announced an order of 300 Vector UAS from Ukraine's Ministry of Defense. This followed 2 earlier Ukrainian orders for 33 Vector systems in August 2022 and 105 in January 2023. The company said Vector UAS have been used in Ukraine since May 2022. Boeing has constructed a multi-mission pod, MMP, for its P-8 Poseidon anti-submarine aircraft, said John Spohr, the company's business development manager for P-8 programs, on 27 June. The multi-mission pod is something that Boeing has been developing for several years, said Spohr, who noted that it was developed via internal research and development, IRAD funding. And to enhance capability in the aircraft, the multi-mission pod is designed to carry sensors that are not organic to the P-8. We're working now with customers to identify sensors that they would like us to include. We're also working with suppliers of sensors that they might be able to provide, Spohr continued. Boeing declined to identify which customers or suppliers the company was speaking with, though the company noted that the U.S. Navy, USN, awarded a $31.7 million contract to integrate the pod in September 2023 and told James any sensor that fits within the size, weight, power, and cooling parameters of the MMP are potential candidates for integration with the MMP and aircraft. The MMP is designed for compatibility with any existing P-8. Although Boeing declined to specify the pod's dimensions, the company told James that it has been very carefully engineered to add capability and versatility while maintaining P-8's flight profile. Flight testing for the MMP is scheduled to begin in July, with certification trials wrapped up by the end of boreal summer. The U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARP, revealed the XRQ-73 series Hybrid Electric Propulsion Aircraft Demonstration, SHEPARD Unmanned Aerial Vehicle, UAV program. The 1,250 lb, 567 kg UAV is to be powered by a hybrid electric engine and fly before the end of 2024. DARP did not reveal specifications of the aircraft, but described it as a Group 3 category UAV, which defines it as flying at 250 kT and under 18,000 ft altitude. A concept image depicts what appears to be a twin-engine, stealthy craft. DARPA had not responded to questions at the time of publication. Northrop Grumman is to build the UAV, and subsidiary Scaled Composites is listed as a major supplier. Other companies involved with the aircraft's construction include Cornerstone Research Group, Brayton Energy, PC Krause and Associates, and Eagle Picture Technologies. The idea behind a DARPAX Prime program is to take emerging technologies and burn down system-level integration risks to quickly mature a new missionized long-endurance aircraft design that can be fielded quickly, said Steve Comedina, SHEP-ARD Program Manager. The SHEP-ARD program is maturing a specific propulsion architecture and power class as an exemplar of potential benefits for the Department of Defense. Italy's Guardia di Finanza has confirmed reports that it found unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, in containers that were destined for Libya in contravention of the United Nations arms embargo on that country. It released a statement on 2 July saying components for 2 military UAVs were found in 6 containers that were being shipped from China to Libya via the Italian port of Gioia Tauro. It was previously reported that Italian authorities had found containers containing suspected weapons on board MSC Arena when it arrived in Gioia Tauro on 18 June. The containers were reportedly destined for Benghazi, which is controlled by the Libyan faction commanded by Khalifa Haftar. MSC Arena left Gioia Tauro on 20 June and sailed to the Moroccan port of Tangier Med, not Libya, before heading towards the Cape of Good Hope. While the Italian authorities reportedly received U.S. intelligence about the suspected weapons shipment, the Guardia di Finanza said the containers were identified by examining suspicious shipping routes and anomalies in accompanying customs documentation. It said the UAVs were disguised as wind turbine parts and released photographs and a video showing its personnel removing a plastic wrapping to reveal the main fuselage section of one of the aircraft and a wing that appeared to have been packed alongside a wind turbine blade. Citing unidentified sources, The Times reported on 30 June that the Italian authorities had found Chinese-made Wing-Lung-Wao, OOVs and 2 control stations in 3 containers taken from MSC Arena and were waiting for MSC Apolline. The U.S. Department of Defense, DoD, announced its intent to send Boeing F-15X and additional Lockheed Martin F-35S to bases in Japan, renewing its tactical air fleet in the country. The U.S. Air Force's USAF's Kadena Air Force Base, AFB in Okinawa, is set to receive 36 F-15XX, according to the announcement. The new fighters are intended to replace the 48 F-15C/Ds that returned to the United States in 2023. The USAF has rotated different tactical fighter units through Kadena AFB. In addition, the USAF intends to replace the 36 Lockheed Martin F-16C/Ds of the 35th Fighter Wing at Misawa AFB in northern Honshu with 48 F-35As. U.S. Marine Corps, USMC aviation forces are also set to be bolstered. The service is to modify the number of F-35Bs at Marine Corps Air Station, MCASI Wakuni, located in Yamaguchi Prefecture on southern Honshu, according to the announcement, which does not specify the number of aircraft set to fly from the base. Today, the USMC deploys F-35Bs to the base on a rotational basis. The rebalance is set to take place over the next several years and reflects over USD 10 billion of capability investments, the announcement said. The USAF deferred questions to the DoD. Neither the DoD nor the USMC responded to questions at the time of publication. Airbus has been awarded a euro 2.1 billion, US 2.26 billion contract to build, launch, and operate 2 new geostationary GEO satellite communications satcom spacecraft for the Bundeswehr. Spanning 15 years, the contract SATCOM 3 involves delivering 2 new satellites and upgrading existing ground segment infrastructure to support operation of the new systems, the company announced on 5 July. The new satellites, based on Airbus Eurostar Neo platform and weighing nearly 6 tons, will replace COMSAT 1 and 2 from 2028 to 2029. A third satellite will be added to the constellation at a later date. Major General Michael A. Fobier, Director of Capability Development and Bundeswehr Digitization, Cyber and Information Domain Service, previously informed James at SAE's 2023 GlobalNews SATCOM Conference, held between 6 and 9 November in London. During the conference, Major General Fobier revealed the Bundeswehr's overarching aim to operate a multi-orbit satellite constellation from 2032 onwards. Meeting this objective will involve developing a new medium Earth orbit MEO constellation comprising up to 24 satellites, he said. The SATCOM 3 will form part of this future multi-orbit system. SATCOM is the Bundeswehr satellite-based communication system, comprising a number of tactical and strategic ground stations that provide secure telecommunications for military users, including voice/data transmission, video, and multimedia applications. The Serbian Armed Forces, Vojska Srbije, VS, was noted operating both United Arab Emirates UAE-supplied and domestically sourced fixed-wing loitering munitions during a recent military maneuver. Exercise Otrini Udar 2024, Firestrike 2024, held at the Pasuljanske Livade training ground in central Serbia on 4 July, saw the use of the UAE-built EDGE, Group SM-1 and SM-2, as well as the Serbian Ministry of Defense, MOD, Military Technical Institute, Vojno Teniki Institute, VTI, developed Osika, Small Wasp, and Komark 2, Mosquito 2, loitering munitions. While the larger SM-2 was seen overflying outside the exercise area, the smaller SM-1 actively participated in the exercise, crashing into a ground target with a simulated explosion. Nenad Miloradovi, Assistant Minister for Material Resources at the Serbian MOD, said the SM-1 will provide far more destructive effects on enemy manpower and vehicles in a 100 by 50 meter area if the real warhead was used. Miloradovi explained that the SM-1 loitering munition shown at the exercise was operated by soldiers of the NI-based Mixed Artillery Brigade, Mi Ovida Artiljerijska Brigada, which is a unit tasked to provide artillery support to the Serbian army. Kopnena Vojska Srbije, Kov, he gave no further details on SMON, except saying it has a range far, far beyond that of the Osika. Also demonstrated at the exercise, Osika is described by the MOD as a loitering munition that can circulate the battlefield for up to 30 minutes at a distance of 20 kilometers and attack all targets, including armored vehicles. It has a 1.5 kilogram warhead and can penetrate 500 mm of homogeneous steel. It is derived from the Yugoslav-made M79 OSA Wasp, portable anti-tank weapon. The Australian government has announced the acquisition of Switchblade 300 precision loitering munitions. The loitering munition provides a critical combat edge and adds to the unmanned capabilities available to the Australian Defence Force, a DF the Australian Department of Defence, DOD, said on 8 July. Developed by AeroVironment Inc., the Switchblade 300 is a tube-launched, non-recoverable attack loitering munition designed to provide multi-domain operational capability to military forces. Australia did not specify which variant of the Switchblade 300 it is acquiring. It is likely, however, that the procurement is for the new extended endurance version, the Block 20. This variant is 0.33 meters shorter in length compared with the baseline Switchblade 300's length of 0.495 meters. However, the Block 20 aircraft has a larger wingspan, 0.5 m greater than the 0.686 meters wingspan of the baseline Switchblade 300, and a greater weight, 3.27 kilograms, compared with the 2.5 kg weight of the baseline version. The Block 20 has a 1.68 kilogram munition. The Block 20 version of the loitering munition also has a service ceiling of 4,572 meters, mean sea level, a maximum dash speed of 161 kilometers per hour, and a range of 30 kilometers. This range could allow Australian Army troops to engage maritime or littoral targets. On 5 July, the Australian DOD published a video of a Switchblade loitering munition destroying a towed naval target. Janus assessed that the target appeared to be a metallic container that was 2 meters long with a diameter of 500 millimeters.
Norway is to send Westland Sea King spare parts to Ukraine to help support helicopters operated in the Black Sea region by the Ukrainian Sea Guard. The Norwegian Ministry of Defense, MOD, announced the donation on 9th of July, saying that it has decided to send the parts as the search and rescue, SAR, helicopters themselves are no longer airworthy. The Sea King helicopters were in service in Norway from 1973 until 2023 and have now been replaced by SAR Queen Leonardo AW101 Merlin helicopters. The Norwegian helicopters have reached their maximum number of flight hours and cannot be donated, the MOD said. Norway's donation is being made in the context of it being the co-chair of the International Maritime Capability Coalition for Ukraine. The Black Sea and the maritime domain in general are of strategic importance to Ukraine and are crucial to the country's ability to export goods. The Maritime Capability Coalition is targeted towards the Ukrainian naval forces as a whole and encompasses the full breadth of maritime capabilities, including the Ukrainian Sea Guard. I am pleased that spare parts from our discarded Sea Kings can help make a difference for Ukraine and facilitate the efforts to establish the Ukrainian Sea Guard, Norwegian Minister of Foreign Affairs Espen Barth Eide said. With 3 UK-donated Sea Kings now operating in the littoral region of the Black Sea, Germany has pledged to send 6 of its recently retired Sea Kings as well. Norway is donating spare parts in connection with the 6 aircraft being donated by Germany, the MOD said. Turkey's first indigenously developed communication satellite, Turksat-6A, successfully launched on board a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida on 9th of July. Operating in geostationary orbit, Turksat-6A is designed to support military and commercial users, providing coverage over the Anatolian Peninsula as well as most of the European continent, the Middle East, and parts of Russia. The satellite has a 15-year lifespan, features Q and X-band payloads provided by Aselsan, and is expected to orbit at 42 degrees east. Partners involved in the satellite's development include TÜBİTAK Uzay, Turkish Aerospace, TUSAS, Aselsan, and SeaTech. The indigenous development of the satellite and subsystems will be used to inform the development of future satellites. Along with Turksat-6A, Turkey launched its first indigenously developed Earth observation satellite, İMİKİ, in April 2023 into sun-synchronous orbit. Sweden has signed for 12 new Sikorsky UH-60M Black Hawk medium-lift helicopters to add to the 15 it already operates. The Swedish Defence Materiel Administration, Försvarets Materielverk, FMV, announced the procurement on 10th of July, 2 months after the U.S. government approved the deal for an estimated $900 million. The acquisition of more helicopters is in line with the Supreme Commander's military advice to the government and the Defense Committee's report on strengthened defense capability for Sweden as an ally. Michael Stolpen, head of HKP 1516 units at FMV, said, with the agency adding that deliveries to the Swedish Armed Forces will be carried out continuously over several years. Designated HKP 16 in national service, the UH-60M was initially acquired by Sweden in 2012 as a temporary measure to help fill a capability gap for operations in Afghanistan, while the country waited on its 18 NH Industries NH-90 helicopters, HKP-14, to be delivered to an operational standard. However, having suffered from poor NH-90 availability and high operating costs, caused largely by an extensive retrofit program in line with the wider international program, the Supreme Commander of the Swedish Armed Forces, General Mikael Bydén, said on 1st St. November 2022 that Sweden had had enough and that it would replace the NH-90S at the same time as expanding its UH-60M fleet. Both Gen Bydén and General Tommy Peterson, deputy head of the Swedish Air Force, SWAF, alluded to problems with the NH-90 being more than programmatic. Gen Bydén said the NH-90 was not performing as required, while Gen Peterson told Janes, Montenegro has received from Slovenia Sea Astral's Belin 5 unmanned aircraft systems, UASs, that were agreed in 2023. The 6 Belin 5 electric vertical takeoff and landing, eVTOL, multi-role UASs were received by the Montenegrin Ministry of Defense on 2nd July. The delivery was conducted at Knjaz Danilo Military Airport in the presence of the Ministers of Defense of Montenegro and Slovenia, Dragan Krapovic and Marjan Šarić, respectively. News of the handover came 10 months after the bilateral agreement was signed in August 2023 between the two former Yugoslav republics to jointly procure fixed-wing UASs for military reconnaissance, as well as aerial surveillance and monitoring. According to the manufacturer, the air vehicle has a 12-kilogram maximum takeoff weight and operates at the tactical level, providing a complete spectrum of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance (ISR) operations. It offers up to 2.5 hours endurance at line-of-sight distances of up to 40 kilometers and altitudes of up to about 13,000 feet. The nose-mounted payload typically features an 80 times zoom gyro stabilized electro-optical SOCH thermal sensor. It can also be equipped with several different command and control data links. Saudi Arabia has signed for a further 4 Airbus military A330 multi-role tanker transport MRTT aircraft to add to the 6 already received. The Saudi Arabian Ministry of Defense, MOD, and Airbus announced the procurement on 10th July, with the former saying these additional aircraft will enhance the capabilities of the Royal Saudi Air Force, RSAF. Airbus said that the first of these aircraft will enter into conversion at the beginning of 2026, before entering RSAF service in 2027. Neither the Saudi Arabian MOD nor Airbus disclosed a contract value. Airbus noted a strong industrial element to this procurement, saying that it builds on the Industrial Participation (IP) agreement signed with the General Authority for Military Industries, GAMI, in January for the development and growth of the industrial ecosystem in the region in support of Vision 2030, a Saudi government program that aims to diversify the country's economy. This agreement also includes the transfer of technology and know-how of the RSAF A330 MRTT to local companies. SAMS, the joint venture created between SAMI, Saudi Arabian Military Industries, and Airbus, will be the main vehicle for industrial localization, Airbus said.
South Korea's Defense Acquisition Program Administration, DAPA has announced the start of the initial manufacturing phase of the country's KF-21 Borame multi-role fighter aircraft. DAP said an event marking the assembly of the first KF-21 production model was held at manufacturer Korea Aerospace Industries KAI's Sakian facility on 10th July. DAPA say they also unveiled at the event a range of automated manufacturing equipment that will support KF-21 production. The automation process will increase the accuracy of the assembly process, maximize production efficiency, and contribute to shortening the production period, the DAPA said. It added that automated manufacturing will enhance KAI's efforts to export the aircraft. The start of the initial production phase follows a contract awarded to KAI in June worth 1.96 trillion South Korean won, $1.4 billion to manufacture an initial batch of 20 KF-21s. This contract runs through August 2027. The DAPA has said it expects to award a contract for a second batch of 20 KF-21s in 2025. The DAPA said on 10 July that the first batch of aircraft is scheduled to be delivered to the Republic of Korea Air Force, ROKAF, from late 2026. Following a successful initial production, mass production of the aircraft is scheduled to start in 2026. The mass production phase is scheduled to run through 2032. The ROKAF has a requirement for a total of 120 KF-21s, with 40 to be delivered between 2026 and 2028, and 80 more by 2032. The DAPA has previously said that production of the aircraft, while led by KAI, will be supported by about 700 local companies. Turkish company STM announced on 9th July that an undisclosed African customer has placed the first export order for its Boyga unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV. The first international user of Boyga after Turkey is a country from the African continent, it said in a press release. The contract for the first export of Boyga has been signed and deliveries will be completed in 2024. The Boyga is an electrically powered unmanned quadcopter with a takeoff weight of 17 kilograms when carrying an 81mm mortar round that STM says can be dropped on targets accurately from relatively high altitudes due to the ballistic estimation algorithm it has developed. The Boyga has an endurance of 30 minutes when carrying a munition and a maximum flight altitude of 3,000 meters, according to the company's website, which gives different figures for the UAV's range, from 5 to 10 kilometers. STM quoted its general manager, ZRG Leary Z, as saying the company's car quadcopter loitering munition has now been exported to more than 10 countries. The Togan Scout UAV has been exported to 2 African countries, and that the first export order for the Alpag tube launched. Loitering munition was signed in 2023. The U.S. Coast Guard, USCG Cutter Kimball, WMSL 756, and patrol aircraft encountered multiple People's Republic of China, PRC, military ships in the Bering Sea on 6th and 7th July. The USCG confirmed on 10th July. Kimball's crew detected 3 vessels approximately 124 miles north of the Amkitka Pass in the Aleutian Islands, and an HC-130J aircrew from USCGA Gear Station Kodiak detected an additional vessel approximately 84 miles north of the Amukta Pass, the USCG reported. All 4 of the PRC vessels were transiting in international waters, but still inside the U.S. exclusive economic zone, which extends 200 miles from the U.S. shoreline, the USCG said. The Chinese naval presence operated in accordance with international rules and norms. Rear Admiral Megan Dean, 17, the Coast Guard District Commander, said in a statement. The Chinese vessels responded to USCG radio communication, and their stated purpose was freedom of navigation operations, the USCG reported. Kimball monitored all ships until they transited south of the Aleutian Islands into the North Pacific Ocean, the USCG noted. The Coast Guard, in coordination with U.S. Northern Command, was fully aware of and tracked the Chinese naval presence, the USCG said. Indo-Russian Rifles, Private Limited, IRRPLA joint venture between Russia and India, has completed the delivery of 35,000 7.62 mm Kalashnikov AK-203 assault rifles to the Indian Army, Russian Defense Industrial Group Rostec said on 5 July. Delivery of the rifles represents the initial tranche of a larger Indian military requirement for 600,000 AK-203s. IRRPL, headquartered in Korwa, Uttar Pradesh, in northern India, was set up in 2019 to produce the rifles in India. The IRRPL joint venture has completed the first phase of the project to manufacture Kalashnikov, a K-203 assault rifles in India. Rostec quoted Alexander Mikheev, the Director General of its subsidiary Rosoboronexport, Russia's defense export agency, as saying, "To increase the degree of localization, all necessary equipment has been shipped to the Korwa Ordnance Factory, and the production facilities have been fully equipped. This made it possible to manufacture and supply a batch of 35,000 Kalashnikov assault rifles to the Indian Army within the time frame agreed upon with the Indian MOD Ministry of Defense," read Mikheev. Janice reported in late May that the Indian Army has already started operating and testing about 27,000 AK-203s produced by IRRPL. The service is also scheduled to receive another batch of 35,000 AK-203s by May 2025. An IRRPL official told Janice that the initial batch of 35,000 rifles will consist of an indigenous content of 25%. IRRPL aims to increase this to 100% by 2025.
Hanwha Systems announced on 9 July that it will supply a modified version of its multifunction radar, MFR, for the medium-range surface-to-air missile Block 2, MSAM-2, systems ordered by Saudi Arabia. It said the MSAM-2 MFR has already been developed to withstand high temperatures and sandstorms for the United Arab Emirates, UAE, which ordered the air defense system in 2022, and that it plans to modify the product to meet the specific environmental conditions and needs of Saudi Arabia. South Korea's Ministry of National Defense announced during the World Defense Show held near Riyadh in February that Saudi Arabia had ordered 10 MSAM-2 batteries worth $3.2 billion. In its 9th June press release, Hanwha Systems said its share of the Saudi contract is worth approximately $867 million, compared with the $1.1 billion it will be paid for supplying the radars for the UAE's systems. The company quoted the head of its surveillance and reconnaissance division as saying, "The radar accounts for 30 to 35% of the cost of the MSAM-2 and more than 70% of the system's maintenance budget."
The Lithuanian Defense Material Agency has ordered Saab Dynamics Mobile Short-Range Air Defense (MSHORAD) system, the Ministry of National Defense (MND) of Lithuania, and the Swedish company announced on 9th July. The order is valued at 147 million euros, 159 million US dollars, with deliveries planned for 2025 to 27. Saab said in a press release that the order was part of a framework agreement between it, the Swedish Defense Material Administration (FMV), and the Lithuanian MND. The order includes mobile fire units, MFUs, based on the Garafa 1X radar, mobile radar units, MUUs, based on the Airbus-70NG missile, a command and control, 2 system, a training package, and the RBS-70NG trainer. Saab will integrate MSHORAD into joint light and tactical vehicles, JLTVs, before delivery to Lithuania. Lithuanian Minister of National Defense, Laurynas Kais, noted that MSHORAD is designed to ensure the protection of facilities, areas, and critical infrastructure. It is expected to strengthen the Lithuanian armed forces' capabilities to counter enemy air-to-ground attacks. MSHORAD fires bolide laser-guided, jamming-resistant missiles, which the Lithuanian armed forces operates along with the older generation RBS-70 air defense system. According to the Lithuanian MND, the FMV ordered 4 MSHORAD systems for Sweden during the fourth quarter of 2023 to investigate the possibility of increasing the system's mobility and improving protection against air threats by integrating the missile and sensor units on a tracked vehicle. The agency ordered 2 systems, with 3 RBS-70NG missiles mounted on the roof of the BV-410, and 2 with 4 ready-to-launch IRIS-T missiles on the back of the all-terrain vehicle, a TV designated Eldenhate, ELD 98 or Fire Unit 98 in Swedish Army Service.